Hey, what up, guys? This is Ryan with Brainstorm. So, histograms are really, they're a way to display data. So, whenever you have data in the real world, it looks terrible. Like, here's a bunch of data, and we'll talk about what it's from, but that's not really a good way to show it to someone or display it or prove a point, right? And so, histograms are a pretty good visual way to do it, especially when your data can be put into like groups, right? So, let's do a little scenario. Pretend you and your little buddies have a rock band and you guys play on the weekends, little garage parties and block parties. And let's say you sat down and said, who is our fan base? Who likes us? What age people really most like us? And you decide to do a little experiment. You have a little show, a little rock show, and then you go around and you ask each person their age, right? And let's say this is the data you collect. This kid was 9, the next kid was 11, right? A bunch of ages. And you can already tell, if you're trying to visually represent the ages of your fans, having a bunch of random numbers does not help, right? We want to put this in a nice, clean, pretty display like a histogram, right? But how do we do that? First, we have to create categories, or in histogram talk, a lot of people call them bins, right? And you'll say, when I say categories or bins, it means something like this. Let's break these ages down. What about people from in their 0 to 10-ish, maybe people in their 10 to the teenage years, and then in their 20s and maybe in their 30s and 40s, right? And so your bins could look like this. And this is the first step in making a histogram. You actually have to decide what your bins or your categories look like. So here's a reasonable set of categories, right? I'll break down my ages here, and I can probably write ages up here on the left side. And you notice you have ranges or categories or bins. And so here I'm going to put all the people that are 0 through 9, here 10 through 19. Importantly, notice that this is not 0 through 10 and then 10 through 20. We have to decide where 10 belongs, and it belongs in this second bin, right? So 0 to 9 here, 10 to 19, doesn't include 20 because 20 is down here. And now really all we're looking for is frequency, like how often do people fall into these categories, and that's now where your data comes into play. And we're going to do that. We're going to put this data in here in the frequency, right? Quick note, could I have chosen different bins or different categories? Like, could I have said 0 to 4 and 5 to 9 and 10 to 14? Absolutely. It's really up to you how you display your data. And in this case, I decided by kind of, 10-year gaps would be good. Okay, so now let's just go through. So let's say how many people are in the range of 0 to 9. Let's count them. This is one. Anybody else from 0 to 9? No. So then I decide over here I have one person from 0 to 9, right? Okay, well, how many from 10 to 19, right? Okay, here's one. Let's see. No. 10 to 19. Up, 16 counts. No. Oh, and 17. I missed him the first swing through. Okay, so I definitely have 3 people that are from 10 to 19. I don't care their exact age. I don't care that it was 16 or 17. I just care how many there are, right? So that's why up here you have the number or the frequency of how many people fall into that category. Okay, so what about from 20 to 29? Let's see. Okay, I have 1. That's good. So 1 there. 20 to 29, there's 2. Okay, oh, there's another one, 3. Oh, and there's a 4th one. Okay, so good. So I have 4 people from 20 to 29. Okay, from 30 to 39, same thing. Let's go through and find it. Let me see. So 30 to 30, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, looks like 7. You can already kind of tell, okay, a lot of people are in that range. Maybe that's where my fan base is. Okay, what about from 40 to 49? Let's see what I can find there. I have, okay, there's 1, 2, so 2 only. And because 40 falls on the category, that is in this category. 40 counts in this bin. Okay, now what about 50 to 59? Let's see about that. Okay, it looks like I have 1 there. And then what about my last category, which was 60 to 69? Not too many old timers that are fans of my band, right? Okay, so now this was the first step. I found bins, or I decided on bins or categories, right? I labeled them here, and then I just found the frequency, how many were in each one. And now here's where you can make a really pretty histogram representing your data. Okay, so now this is what the histogram would look like. And over here you have numbers of individuals, right? You have kind of the frequency. How many are there? And yes, this is terribly sloppy, and that's my bad. Obviously, you would like to write nicer if you're going to turn this in for your assignment, right? But you get the point. You have these categories, 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20, 29. Now all you do is you come in and you fill these suckers in, right? So how many between 0 and 9? There was only 1. So this is what your bar is going to look like for this 0 to 9, right? Look like so. What about 10 to 19? Well, that was 3. So up 1, 2, 3. Looks like it's about there, right? And there's your second one. And you can already see this is starting to look nice. You can totally represent your data. 20 to 29, that was 4. So it looks like about here. Right? So there's your 20, 29. What about 30 to 39? That was our most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's way up here at 7, and it's going to look like this, okay? All right, and now 40 to 49, well, that starts to peter off again. That's at about 2, so it's here. And 50 to 59, that was at 1, and 60 to 69, that's at 1. And, you know, if you want to be cool, you can come in and color these. But look, isn't this much better? So we started with this here. We had kind of these age of fans and these scattered numbers, out of order, difficult to represent. But if I went to my band now with this histogram and said, hey, man, look at this, you guys. I decided to collect all the ages of our fans, and this is the breakdown of our fan base. Now, if we want to, like, advertise or put out flyers, who should we put out flyers to? Kids from 0 to 9, people from 60 to 69, or is it in this range? Definitely our biggest fan base is 30 to 39, but even in your 20s and maybe your young 40s. So that's the whole point of histograms. It's not a way to collect data. You got the data manually by asking. Histograms are simply a way to display data, and it especially works when you can break your sort of individual data values into categories like this. Ages is a good one, and there's other examples as well. Hopefully you understand that. Good luck in the section, and that's it for histograms.